Clans League of Legends League, also known as GCLL Season 4. We're going to be going into the Challenger League Grand Finals game between LGN Pax and Team Mystic. So I'll be your caster for today, and joining me is going to be Shera. How's it going, Shera?
I'm doing great. How are you yourself?
I'm doing great myself. I'm very excited to see how this final is going to turn out. Who do you think will be top dog in this run?
Ooh, it's going to be a tough one, but I would have to, I don't want to spoil it, so we'll get into it maybe after like a later time. You know, we just don't want to start out.
Yeah, it's better not give a not to give our input into the game because we kind of know a bit about the teams. But anyway, that's the thing about any game in the sense is it comes down to how you play on the day. I mean, everyone can have off days as well. But before that, we need to get into and give a shout out to our sponsors. So we have FreeMe, our digital banking partners who have made online payments very easy. So it's very convenient, and also you get those cashback offers from FreeMe, and it's a very easy to make account as well. And with that, we have our food partners, Pereira & Sons, and I'm pretty sure you yourself have eaten from Pereira. So definitely it's a really great option for you, especially when you want to pick yourself up at any time of the day, be it in the morning, evening, or in the night. So make sure you head on over to PNS and grab a bite to eat. And then we have MSI, our laptop partners, with a very well known, globally recognized brand, and obviously with some very high level gaming equipment, especially in terms of peripherals as well as laptops. So with that, looks like we will be getting into the draft right now. So looks like Wukong has been banned out. We have Amumu banned out, and I cannot see the other two. So if you'd like to help me out, Shara.
Yep, on the side of LGN Pax, we see that Yorick, Wukong, and Nocturne has been banned out, and on the side of Team Mystic, we see that the Oriana and the Amumu. I mean, the Amumu definitely a Sri Lankan favorite right there being banned, and we see the Nautilus coming in. Nautilus is actually very strong as a support now, so definitely a good ban right there going to the side of Team Mystic.
Yeah, just Nautilus is just one of those heroes you don't really want to deal with because he has such a great way of just kind of running into your entire team and just controlling all of them.
Like super tanky as well. He gets that shield and that health, so it's pretty annoying to definitely deal with them. We see the Jarvan coming in from the side of LGN Pax. It's actually worked out quite well for them. They actually picked the Jarvan against LLG also, and it worked out quite favorably for them. The Jarvan, you know, ulting on maybe like a carry, maybe like the mid laner or the ADC, and it's definitely worked out for them. So a good pick going to the side of LGN Pax. And we see that Team Mystic has picked up the Maokai. What do you think about that?
So I think Maokai is going to be very interesting. We'll have to kind of wait and see how he's going to fit into this draft. I mean, there's a decent amount of ways you can play him, but it's going to be interesting to see how Team Mystics really kind of utilize him because I haven't really seen them running their Maokai because they themselves actually play the Jarvan as well because we saw them playing that in a few matches as well. We saw them playing, I believe it was Jarvan and Xerath combination as well. I think even LGN Pax actually, no, it was actually Team Mystics that pulled it off against LLG. So it was the Cataclysm combo into the Xerath ultimate, which was definitely something not to laugh about because that combination is actually so strong.
And we see the Thresh being picked up, second pick for LGN Pax. That is actually, I've never seen LGN Pax ever play Thresh before, so it's going to be a very interesting one to see if you can, you know, land those hooks and try and, you know, get those hooks in right, because it's very important as a Thresh, you know, to land those hooks, then you can make those sick plays. But, you know, I'm questioning this Maokai a lot because I've never seen Maokai in pro play, so it's my first time actually seeing Maokai being played right now. And we see on the side of LGN,
so they picked up the OP. Even after getting the nerf, he's actually still quite strong. So Garen, Mr. Spinneroonie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really hoping that they would be able to pull this off. I'm really hoping to see like a, you know, like a Garen being, you know, played to its fullest potential and really seeing it, you know, shine. So we'll definitely it's definitely an interesting match.
I mean, we don't want to see that the last time we saw the Garen matchup where they just literally sit in the top lane. So that is not something we don't really want to see. And looks like Team Mystics actually going in for Kindred. So some very interesting picks actually coming out from Team Mystics here. And like you said, even the, you know, Maokai, like the thing about professional plays, like most of the time players just pick what they're comfortable with, and maybe they have some sort of, I mean, obviously coming into a grand final they probably have some sort of a plan in mind with this Maokai, so maybe there is some sort of pick that we don't really have, that we haven't seen yet, that kind of just brings it together and makes the Maokai work, or maybe they'll show us a way that it actually works that we aren't aware of. So that's always going to be the exciting part of Sri Lankan League of Legends for sure, where, you know, people come up with all these really interesting strategies because they can, most of the time people just play heroes that they like.
Yeah, true. I mean, this thing is definitely going to be a very interesting match which is going to be coming through. And we see on the side of LGN Pax, they have banned the Rakan, and on the side of Team Mystics, they have banned the Akali, and now we are waiting for that fifth ban from Team Mystics, so we will have to see what it's going to be. And it's going to be that Ahri, which has actually worked out quite well for LGN Pax against LLG, and you know, definitely showing respect to the side of LG and Pax, and definitely taking that Ahri out, which I think is a good idea.
Yeah, definitely. I think given the way that the player from LGN Pax, their mid laner, how he played the Ahri, and, you know, he was very calculated in his aggression, and, you know, he was really giving that Oriana a very difficult time. And, you know, that is something that Team Mystics don't really want to deal with, and especially with the picks that they actually have coming out. You know, if they do pick up an Ahri, these guys are very easily burstable, especially Xerath, because he doesn't have a lot of mobility, which gives, you know, Ahri the kind of ability to kind of get on top of Xerath, and that makes it very difficult for him to make any sort of move, because even when he's channeling his ulti, you can always charm him, or you can burst him down with your Q, and then you also have the Foxfire and the ultimate coming out from Ahri as well, so that's a lot of mobility to deal with for the Xerath in case. So that matchup wouldn't be really amazing, even though Xerath does have a decent amount of poke from range, but once the Ahri actually hits level 6, it's going to be quite difficult.
Yeah, and we see the Shen, and the Garen, it was actually, you the same matchup which happened LG
Yeah.
versus LG. So it's gonna be the same matchup which is gonna happen again. So it's definitely gonna be one of those one-sided, right in the corner matchups which is gonna happen in this game probably. Too.
I mean, I hope it's not the same as we saw last time because
so too, yes.
that was a little bit of a snooze fest in the top lane, and then multiple times we saw the Shen trying to use the ultimate to go and assist his team, but then every single time he would use it in front of the Garen, and the Garen would just silence him and just cancel it or stun him or something like that. And we see a Syndra to finish things off, so that's very interesting coming out from the side of LGN Pax.
I mean, knowing that the thing about this composition is that Team Mystic can counter LGN Pax in a lot of ways, like use the Kindred like ultimate when the Syndra is gonna ulti, or maybe when the Garen is even gonna ultimate. So there's a lot of ways how Team Mystic can counter Syndra and Garen's ultimate by using Kindred ulti.
Yeah, definitely. The Kindred definitely seems to be a very key part of it. So we might even see LGN Pax trying to get on top of the Kindred, try to burst her down before the fight even starts, because they've been very good at coordinating their team fights as well, and we know who they want to target. So it looks like they're going to finish things off with the Xayah. It's going to be very interesting going into these lanes. But looking at the drafts right now, who do you think has the better overall draft right now, Shara?
Ooh, it's actually, oh man, I really want to say Team Mystic has the better draft right now, because if they played right, they really can pull it off. That's what I feel like it, because I feel like, can Xayah if Xayah ultimates, can she get out of the Jarvan Cataclysm? That's the question.
I guess we'll both wait and find out, I guess. But hopefully if it does work out, it'll be actually quite cool. But then the thing about it is you don't really, most of the time you don't really want to blow your ult to try and get out of something like that. But then obviously it's always better than putting your flash on cooldown.
Yeah.
I mean, putting your flash on cooldown, it's a very extremely long duration. So that is something, I mean, it's better to always put your ultimate, which will cool down faster than your flash on cooldown if you can get out of it. But if it does work out, then it's a really great pickup against the Jarvan. But at the end of the day, it will come down to execution and how they play, and whether she'll actually get bursted before she can even press a button. Because right now I feel like Team LGN Pax actually have a decent amount of burst damage on their side. They have a silence with Garen as well, so if the Garen can get on top of someone, silence them, and then get a little bit of damage in and just ult them and just reset. I mean, just kind of just take out one of the champions almost immediately in the start of the team fight. It's going to be a very single-sided game, but like you said, the Kindred is going to have a lot to do in this game, and she's going to have to watch her positioning and how her timings of her ultimate, and even Mystics are going to have to coordinate and take fights according to whether Kindred has the ultimate or not, unless they're super far ahead and very confident in how they're going to play.
No, I mean, definitely. I mean, as long as the Kindred can pull off those, really key ultimates, then they really can make this team composition work in their favor.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing about games, most of these games, right? So it's everything down to, we think it's down to one thing, but it's always multiple small things that kind of accumulate into becoming this huge part of the game. And with that, so even now recently we saw the Earth coming out as well, so that is something that we were super excited for. I think you haven't been able to play it yet.
Try, so I really have to go try it, because he told me it started. I was like, oh, it's already started now.
Yeah, it actually started a few days ago, so I've actually played a few games. I actually got wrecked by Katarina a few times, so that was not fun, because level 1 you're a melee hero, you're just chilling under the tower, and then she just comes and starts throwing daggers at you, and you use all your regen before the match even starts. Yeah, it's super annoying. Like all you have to do is just kind of run back, but it's kind of like asserting dominance. You don't want to leave from that spot, so you just keep eating daggers. But end of the day, you kind of ruin your laning stage with that. But Earth is super fun, and I'm looking forward to that, playing more of that anyway. And with that, obviously Worlds is it's actually quite intense these days, and the games have been very, very close. Even the game between IG and I think Griffith was a really interesting game to see, where IG actually took the win even after their, I think Xayah, I can't remember. As long as one of Griffith's players actually got a pentakill.
Wow.
Yeah, and they still lost the game. Yeah.
That's interesting. So were they winning in the first duration of the game, or?
No, so they were actually losing, and IG was doing a really great job during the early game. But then somewhere down the line, IG just made a few too many mistakes and kind of let Griffith get back into the game. And then that pentakill came about, and everyone thought, the game is on his head. The crowd was going crazy, and then suddenly, this IG just got everything together, and they just kind of ran over Griffith in that last part. One mistake in their part kind of snowballed into one kill after the other, and then they managed to take the game off Griffith, which was a very it was a very interesting game, and I was like super into it. And I usually don't watch too many league games, but that was like I was glued to the screen. And hopefully this is going to be one of those grand finals like that as well.
I mean, only time will tell. You definitely do have to stick around in order to find out.
Yeah, definitely. So it's going to be an interesting game. I think we saw the drafts and you know how they've actually taken quite a drastic turn from most of the picks that were used. I mean, like we saw Kaisal, we saw Waynes being picked up in most of these games, and you know we saw a few other picks coming out. We saw I believe it was the Galio, you know, that Mystics was running, and you know in this game we actually see very unorthodox picks on both sides as well. But I feel like LGN Pax is more on the orthodox side. They've seemed to have studied the meta a little bit, and you know that's the kind of thing they're kind of running with. They're using that Jarvin just to get that, you know, fast jungle rotations and you know get that lockdown, the control, and then the isolation coming in from Cataclysm, because if they can always get on top of that Zerath, you know, you can always bring him down. But on the side of Team Mystics, we actually have a decent amount of poke as well. I mean, Zerath is always going to be great at poking someone out, so you know you can stop aggressive pushes, you can deal a decent amount of damage. And the mid lane matchup between Zerath and I believe it was Syndra, it's going to be very interesting. So in terms of matchups, who do you think would do better? Would you think it will be Syndra or the Zerath?
I feel like if the Zerath just stays in the back and tries and farms, then he will have a good time. And plus his range is also really good as opposed to the Syndras. So if he just stays in the back and does his thing, you know, just plays super safe, he'll be okay. But if he just goes in, you know, head on, trying to, you know, like pressure the Syndra or trying to do anything like that, unless there's a gank coming in, then you know he really has to keep his distance away from Syndra, because once Syndra gets a stun in and then she uses her ultimate, it's gonna be like, you know, that's it. Yeah,
it's going to be very tough once Syndra gets on top of the Zerath, because like we said, Zerath is not always going to be this super mobile champion. He's going to be very clunky, very slow.
Well, one of the things which I really want to point out is that during the game when LLG and Team Mystic were playing, right? Team Mystic had really good vision. They had really aggressive vision wards too, so if they can maybe utilize that, if they can do the same for this game as well, they would have a really good chance, because vision really does play a role, you know, in how the games are gonna progress.
Yeah, definitely. I think vision plays a huge role in how you are going to make your decisions. Like even if you want to sneak Baron, if you want to, you know, make an aggressive move. I mean, even if you want to do like a level 1 invade. I mean, you know, vision is always going to play a huge part. If you know there's only, you know, 3 heroes when you have 5, you're always going to want to take that fight, because you know the rest of the champions are not around to help out. And you know, when it's a 5-on-3 fight, you know, you always know that your chances are much better than anyone else's, as long as you don't overcommit, obviously. But most of the time, you know, those early game fights, if you can take them and you can win them, you can actually snowball into the game quite hard. So if it's a jungler or the, you know, AD carry in the bot lane, like if he gets a few kills in that, you know, game, like especially someone like Tristana, if you see the invasion coming in from her and she getting like 3 kills and, you know, picking up a BF sword in like the first minute of the game, that's like insane. Like the game is already
first minute.
I mean anything is possible, right? I mean, you don't know how the invade is going to go, so I mean anything is possible. So that's
she gets like 5 kills in the first minute or something.
I think it's 1,400, right? BF sword. 1,300? Yeah, okay, that's a lot of gold in League, never mind. I'm not going to retract my statement, but I hope it'll happen. I mean, anything can happen, right? So in terms of the bot lane matchup right now, you yourself are a main in ADC, so you know like how the matchups go. You've been, you know, kind of working on that yourself. So given the 2 bot lanes on this side, which side do you think is much stronger during the early game and the later game?
So in the side of Team Mystic, I recall that they picked the Xayah, and for the support they picked
it was Maokai, right?
Maokai. Was it the Maokai?
It was the Maokai, right? Who was the jungler?
Was the Maokai was supposed to go top lane, right?
I thought the Shen was going top lane.
Oh yeah, was it Maokai? Wait.
Is it a support Maokai? What?
wait, everything just got twisted right now. Oh yeah, it was actually Kindred jungle.
Yeah, Kindred jungle.
Shen would probably go top.
Yeah.
And then it was a Maokai support. That's so interesting right there. Wow. Okay, game has started, and what we're seeing right now is actually a Maokai support.
It is a Maokai support. So question asked, question answered. Oh my god, this is going to be so interesting.
Actually, very. Okay, I honestly, this matchup is very confusing, because all I know is, okay, Tristana and Thresh have a really good, like they've got really good potential, but in terms of a Maokai, Xayah, it's very questionable, and I'm just trying to figure out how this combo is trying to work, you know, in terms of their team fighting and in terms of their laning phase. So yeah.
So anyway, with that, for those of you who are just joining in, we have LGN Pax on the blue side and we have Team Mystics on the red side. And once again, Garen immediately going in for that silence and just doing a decent amount of damage onto the Shen, but the trades are pretty good.
And we see the 2 junglers are doing their own thing, you know, they're by their Kinder's on his red side and Jarvan's on his blue side, and they're just following the standard pathing, no level 2 ganks or anything like that, and we see that poke coming in by the Xerath, so he's doing a great job, and that's what he's supposed to do as a Xerath as well. Just keep his distance away from the Syndra and try and farm and just try and poke against the Syndra.
Yeah, so he's actually doing quite a good job. So you can see the Syndra also doing a really good job. You can see those skill shots coming to play.
We see the Kindred coming in mid lane right now, and Xerath is moving there, but a beautiful flash by the Syndra, and she gets away and she is safe.
Yeah, great understanding there, knowing that, you know, if he didn't burn the flash there, he'd probably be dead.
Yeah.
Because, you know, with the Xerath as well as the Kindred on top of you, so the flash was definitely necessary. So heads up play coming out from him, but
we
actually
see the Jarvan actually having his eyes on the Kindred, but Kindred just dashes away, and here comes the Syndra, but Syndra's not able to get that stun, and everyone backs off, and it's all fine and dandy. We see
meanwhile Maokai actually going in. But we like to also get the commitment there from both these. The Maokai is actually quite good at closing the distance between both of these heroes, you know, just getting in there and just allowing the Xayah to kind of poke from really far away. The Tristana taking a decent amount of damage as well. I wonder what the timing for the side of LGN Pax is going to be, especially with that Thresh and not seeing the, just not being able to see the Maokai right now.
Yeah, we actually saw the Maokai head all the way down to the blue side red, their red buff, and he actually went and warded it over there, so that's a pretty long ward right there, which is placed on the side of Team Mystic. And we see a beautiful stun coming in by the Syndra. Syndra's playing this absolutely amazing again. She's calm, she's calculated, and she's honestly even more ahead in CS, so good on her right there.
Yeah, I mean, but in the top lane, the usual snooze fest, but now Maokai actually coming in.
Maokai coming in right now, and we also see the Kindred right now, but they are not able to
the
do anything.
hook!
A hook coming in by the Thresh, but will they be able to get anything? We see the Jarvan also coming in. Is that EQ combo which is going to come in? Xayah gets knocked up right there. She has to flash, and Jarvan also flashes away. And first blood going to Kindred. Kindred uses his flash there over there too to secure that first blood. And the first blood going over to Kindred right there.
Yeah, so Team Mystic's already on the board right now. That's always definitely going to be really great, because Kindred actually getting ahead of the Jarvan is going to be a huge deal in this game, because like you said, you know, the better jungler wins. But you know, end of the day, the Kindred actually just getting that kind of boost with that kill, going to be able to pick up those items much faster than the Jarvan, and the Jarvan is going to get pushed back. So once again, a really nice. So here we got the replay. He actually gets ignited as well, and that Kindra's ability right there, just kind of doing so much damage at this stage of the game, is very surprising, because it was a fair chunk of HP that he still had on the Jarvan as well. So, but with the ignite there, it was actually quite difficult.
And actually, one of Kindred's passive is that, you know, once you hit 3 autos, you know, it just procs, so that did a lot of damage to Jarvan there too. And I think definitely they underestimated on the side of Team Mystic's damage. And plus also, one of the things which I'm thinking about now, like considering the bot lane matchup, is that Maokai has good early game potential. You know, he has a lockdown, he has those, you know, those plants which he can throw in the bushes, and you know, like it would really make it hard for even a Thresh to try and come in towards like a bush because of that plant sapling what Maokai has. So it's definitely paying out for them, but I think in terms of the early game, Maokai Xayah really has like a good thing going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, it's always really nice when these teams kind of just, you know, pull off the heroes that they're really comfortable with, and kind of just show us that always, you know, the thing about games like this is anything is possible, and I think we learned that quite well with G2 when, you know, they started doing some really crazy stuff, and nice stun coming out.
Syndra coming in right now from the top lane, and Garen gets the kill right there. Beautiful gank by the Syndra. Shen was not expecting that gank at all, and we see the Kindred trying to chase the Jarvan down, but decides to back off, trying to get that vision ward right there. And the last tick, come on, you can do it. Ooh, didn't really want to risk it. This one dashes away, and Syndra gets a beautiful stun right there. And ultimate coming in by Shen for the Kindred, and Shen is looking to try and go in, maybe not. And
both of them are level 6, both the Garen as well as the Shen.
Ultimate coming in by the Xerath, trying to get that
the taunt.
And the taunt coming in by the Shen, using his flash also. They are just trying to get that Syndra, but they are not able to. She's just running away for her dear life, and she actually gets away. That's crazy. They used everything on the Syndra, but could not get that Syndra at all. I mean, is definitely really good positioning by the Syndra right there coming through.
Yeah, definitely really good play right there. Even not having flash, not too much mobility, but still even then, just having the right kind of positioning, right kind of footwork that's needed to kind of just evade that situation. And I'm very surprised of the Jarvin actually. He's missing quite a few of his EQ combos there with the flag, the stun, and it's like super important to actually get it done, but he's not. He's actually kind of missing most of it. But anyway, we saw the Shen actually just getting taken down by the Syndra with that nice rotation from Syndra. So the top lane is not a complete snooze fest, but he has picked up that. It looks like he has picked up the Tiamat, so he's going to use that for the moment. And looks like Shen actually doing a decent amount of damage. Level 7 on the Garen. He needs to be very careful. If he has another taunt, he might be in a little bit of trouble. He might be waiting for a Q. He actually gets it off.
Have his ultimate right now, but the Shen is doing a lot of damage. They're going all out on this fight right now. And Garen just uses that ultimate, and we see the Kindred coming in right now, trying to get that Garen. And can he get him is the question. We see Kindred using his red side, but barely able to get that Garen down, and Garen survives.
What a play. I mean, just knowing how much damage you're going to do, and the Shen just evaporating with like even 45% HP left. Look at this. He has so much HP left. It seems like, okay, 100% this Garen is not going to win this. But look at that ultimate. Look at the damage coming out from that at level 1. That's like 35% of his HP already gone. And that is going to give this Garen so much confidence to get even more aggressive on the Shen. And then suddenly, the goal lead is looking even right now. And LGN Pax with 2 kills on the board right now.
And those 2 kills going over to the Garen, 150 bounty on him, so it's looking pretty juicy for him right there on the top lane right now.
Yeah, definitely, but the Xayah in the bot lane is doing a really great job of just keeping up the CS right now. 63 in comparison to Tristana's 68. So, he's doing quite a really good job. The Shen is also at 56 CS, even though the Garen did manage to bring him down twice. But right now, so far things seem to be quite even for the side, for both sides here. Just we just see that Mystics has a little bit of a lead here.
I mean, just what we're expecting from the grand finals right here, putting up a really good performance from both the teams. So it's definitely a match to watch out right now. And honestly, I really have to give props to this Syndra. She's been getting her every time I see mid lane. She's been getting her stunts on point. So props on her. She's doing a really fantastic job right now.
Yeah, definitely Syndra's doing a really great job, just putting so much pressure on this Xerath. And I mean, in the previous game we saw Xerath doing really well, but this Syndra has just been doing a really much better job. And this is with her kind of rotating into the other lanes and putting pressure there as well, assisting the Garen as well. And with that we see the Tristana and the Thresh just going for a little bit of a ride there, just grabbing the lamp right now.
They're trying to move towards the dragon area right now, and I feel like Team Mystics is just trying to camp, trying to pick somebody off, and I think they're just trying to secure vision over that side. They definitely do not want to try and give.
They're trying to go onto this Thresh right now.
And Xerath misses that stun over there, so definitely not able to do anything afterwards. So, I mean, Thresh uses some nice sidestep moves and just gets away just like that.
Yeah, it's giving, Tristana is having to play a little bit safe, but, this combination in the bot lane with the Maokai. Oh, did he get the Caravan? Yes, 75 gold. Nice.
Did he?
Yeah, looks like they might actually be able to converge here.
Jarvan coming in right now. Thresh is using his hook. Everybody's going in. What are they doing? We see the Shen using his ultimate on the Maokai, and they are actually doing great work. They actually turned it around. That's very surprising right there. And Thresh gets a beautiful hook on the Xayah, but unable to do anything. We see the Trinta coming in bot right now as well. Xerath is still in the mid lane. We see
what a nice stun there.
Right there. And there's that ultimate which is paying off for the Kindred. That's exactly what you need. We see the Xerath with his ultimate trying to get that Tristana, and he gets him. That's a lot of things which just happened right there. And one of the things, what Kindred did with that ultimate, definitely something what you need for that to counter that Syndra ultimate or that Garen ultimate, definitely paid out well for them right there.
Yeah, definitely. And with that, they're going to be able to pick up the first dragon of the game as well, which is definitely huge. And really great rotations overall coming in from this from the side of Team Mystics here. They're really good coordinated. They managed to get back onto the board, but maybe this time we saw the Shen rotating with that ultimate as well, using it quite well, finally getting a kill for himself as well. But Garen just kind of just chilling in the top lane right now, just farming it up. I mean, he's finally now ahead of the Shen in terms of CS, and the Shen will be taking a while to actually get to the top lane.
We're definitely seeing a Shen who knows how to ult, so it's all very good.
Yeah, but with that, they're actually going to be losing first.
A lot of turns
yeah.
right there. Plates actually, yeah.
They'll probably take the first tower as well. Shen is still quite on the way, and with a few more Qs coming from Garen, we should be saying the turret first blood there. Just a few more hits. No.
I think one of the key factors, why that team fight went in the favor of Team Mystics is that Team LGN Pax did not have any vision towards like the riverside, so they have no idea who was coming from which side, right? So
here we are just taking a look at the the fight once again, and Jarvan couldn't even get his ult off there. So really great taunt coming in, and you can see the combination of stuns and works coming in from the Maokai just to bring down the Tristan, especially with the Xerath ult, as well as the Xayah just beating into everyone there. So really good use of most of these crowd control abilities that they do have on the side of Team Mystics, and it seems to be working out for them quite well. The interesting thing is, are they going to be building into something to deal with it, or are they just going to try and tank it up at face value is the question. But right now all I know is this Jarvan is not having a really good game. He's actually having a quite difficult game right now because the Kindred just having a much better start and just putting a lot of pressure on the map right now, and like you said, just using that ultimate to kind of nullify most of Syndra's abilities as well.
We see in terms of CS, everything is looking even except for the...
Oh no, they warded the same place twice.
Did they?
Yeah, that is... Yes, they put 2 vision wards down. That's unfortunate.
That's a bit of a miscommunication right there. Alright.
So far things not looking too great for the side of LGN Pax, but things can always change. It'll come down to how they actually take, but with that turret plating will be falling very soon, and this Garen hasn't been in any of the fights right now, so here we can see a beautiful view of the game right now, all 3 lanes.
Yeah, that's a cool view right there.
Yeah, definitely. So that's something you don't see every day in League of Legends, so that's something definitely cool. And
we see the Jarvan trying to come in with the lantern right there.
Oh, EQ?
Getting that. Oh, he still does have his ultimate, but he cannot do anything. We see the Xerath coming in bot, using his ultimate right there. They are putting pressure on this bot lane. They are not able to do anything, and they just back away from there.
Yeah, I mean, they expended a lot there, both the flashes from both the Thresh as well as the Jarvan, but meanwhile in the top lane, looks like Garen is actually going in on the Shen, and Shen is actually taking a decent amount of damage. Will he be able to make it out is the question. Yes, he is.
Man, like what's happening right now?
Wow, they're going to be diving here.
The Kindred coming in there right now, and he also has his ultimate, so no voice for him. He can get away from there any single time, and there you go. That's that ultimate playing really good value right there for the Kindred, and just like that, they can even take ganks.
Yeah, definitely, and the really nice thing I saw about the kind of this. I forgot the name, sorry. But either way, the jungler from the side of Team Mystics.
The Kindred.
Kindred, yes. I don't know why I thought Kindra for some reason. Kindra is a Pokemon, but Kindred anyway. But just, using that invulnerability as well to dodge that last hit from the tower. Otherwise, you have been taken down. But with that turret first blood going the way of the Garen. And now the Shen needs to be very careful here. He should have flash if he wants to burn it, because the Garen should be having another Q very soon. But looks like he's going to decide to back off. What do you think the side of LGN Pax kind of needs to do right now to kind of bring the game back in their favor?
I think they really have to respect the enemy team right now, because what's happening is that the thing is, Team Mystics really have an answer to everything what LGN has to bring to the table. So in terms of, we see a fight which is happening right now. The Garen getting caught, he's overextended right now, and Garen using that ultimate, but Shen gets away with a sliver of health and just barely manages to get away, and that's that Garen going down right there.
So that is going to be the bounty heading on over to, I can't remember who actually brought him down, but he actually gets a decent amount of bounty from the Garen kill there. And now once again this Jarvan is just getting bullied right now, can't even deal with the support Maokai.
The thing is, the Jarvan is also pretty squishy, so he cannot even just go in, the last team fight we saw the Jarvan alting on the Xayah, and then the Xayah just ults away and just negates, much of that damage. And okay, we see the Shen right here. And the Garen right there on the enemy side, he's in the jungle all by himself. Maokai just comes in right there, and Xayah is also there. It's 3v1, he's by himself. He thinks he can try and get this Shen. We thought he could get it too, but unfortunately Shen actually gets away.
Yeah, just hit him one more right click, it would have been perfectly fine. He would have gotten that Shen kill and it would have been at least worth his while. But in this case it was actually quite difficult, and now the Garen is just kind of running around, sitting at level 10. The Jarvan.
See, this is what I'm talking about, right? Team Mystics, the way how they ward aggressively is so good. this is one of the things which I really noticed when they were playing against LLG as well. They really like to ward aggressively, so it's giving them so much vision, and it's really paying out well for them. And we also see that the Kindred has also gotten the Rift Herald, so more advantage to the side of Team Mystics.
The Maokai needs to be very careful here. He's actually going to be taking a decent amount of damage from this tower, and Garen might get a free kill. He has to burn the flash.
Oh, okay, that's very questionable right there. I don't know what that Maokai was thinking, but he was getting torrent aggroed right there, so it's a bit of a question. But we do see that LGN is trying to take that dragon.
I think they'll be successful in it. There's no one really positioned for it,
but we do see the Herald which is being placed at the top side, so they will probably be able to get this second tier tower at the top side.
Yeah, I mean the Herald is going to do a decent amount of damage to these towers right there. So, but the Garen is there if he wants to kind of use it, but the rest of the team kind of needs to be there.
We see
so
4 people right there against 2. Let's see if the Syndra can hold at least.
the Zerath ult as well.
Using his ultimate right now.
If they can bring down the Herald right now, it's going to be huge, and yes, they do manage to do it with just 2. And the rest of the team is kind of rolling up right now with the Thresh, looking for a hook right there, not being able to find anyone, and Garen is just going to spin to win right there, pushing out the wave and securing, making sure that this T2 doesn't go down.
Yeah, and we see Shen all by himself, just trying to get that bot tower of LGN Pax, and hopefully he would be able to do that. And in terms of the gold lead, we see 18 minutes into the game, we see like close to like a 1k difference, you know, going in favor of Team Mystic. So it's not that much of a difference, you know. They can always definitely make a comeback as well.
Oh, the stun onto the Syndra. Oh my god.
A beautiful stun coming in by the Syndra. Even before Kindred could pop his ultimate, she kills him just like that.
Yeah, just during the duration of the stun right there, just managed to burst her down quite well. And the Syndra really showcasing that, you know, even though she was pressured in the lane quite a bit by the Kindred, she did go down once, but she did put on a dancing shoes and managed to avoid a few of those ganks right there, but managing to do a decent amount of damage. She has picked up that Luden's Echo as well, so she's going to be doing a lot of ability damage right there, and that's how we saw the burst damage coming in onto the Kindred. Not too happy about it, but you know, the Syndra just kind of making plays right there.
Definitely, and we see the Syndra trying to go back right now. And in terms of the CS, not much difference right there, except for the Syndra, you know, having a greater lead over the Zerath, but it's not a big deal right now. And the Thresh trying to get that hook but misses and had to flash, get stunned by the Xayah, and he had to burn his flash over there. That's not good for him, and they are pressuring this mid tower right now, but Syndra's just making her way over there, so that's always a good sign right there.
Yeah, and you know, with the Syndra on your team as well, it's always going to be great for you to just be able to, you know, kind of safely clear out the wave and push it out without putting anyone from your team in a lot of danger, because that means they would have to heavily commit into the towers to kind of, you know, bring anyone down. And now the Shen actually going in very aggressively, and the Cataclysm coming out of the
ultimate there too, and Xayah is just coming in right there trying to get that Jarvan, but Jarvan uses his stopwatch, and okay, Jarvan dies to the Zerath, and here comes Zerath trying to use the ultimate on the Tristana as well, and Xayah was just able to get that last auto and kill off that Tristana.
Yeah, Tristana just kind of going in very aggressively there, and now even Syndra actually being once again going aggressive on the Kindred in the mid lane and forcing her to ult, and now Garen in the bot lane trying to defend this T1 tower. Syndra actually getting wrapped around right now.
We see the Shen using the ultimate on the Zerath, but we see Xayah who's trying to...
Oh, the ult? Can he get the ult off? Yes, he can, and that's a lot of gold. That's 200 gold going the way of the Garen, and he's not even done yet. He's probably going to end up getting a double kill.
Yeah, he's probably going to do a lot of damage right here. He's probably going to get both of them right now, and Maokai
and boom, there we go.
Both of them going down right now. That is not good for the side of Team Mystic right there. Giving a shutdown for the Garen, plus another free kill right there.
There is 200 gold from the shutdown. The shutdown goal, 200 gold going the way of the Garen, who's 4-1-0 with a Trinity Force and Merc Treads as well. He's like he's super happy right now. Once again, another 150 gold. So here we have the replay. He's just trying to defend this tower, and they actually they commit quite heavily. And this is not the first time this Maokai has done it. It's the second time going in aggressively. And I really like the decision making coming out from the Garen here to go onto the.
He did a lot of damage right there with just that Q right there. It was so much damage coming in from the Garen.
No, I really like the heads up play to focus the Zaya, because Zaya is the one who's going to be dealing most of the damage there, and having the heads up play to kind of focus the ADC instead of the support Maokai right there, it just secured that he had a double kill there. And those are those little plays that no one really notices or realizes, but it's the plays you need to make to turn the game in your favor, and that is actually a huge deal, because looking at the net worth right now, both the teams are even.
Yeah, you're supposed to be actually. LGN Pax is really back in this game right now after what they've done during the last few plays.
So here we can see the blue buff getting taken down. We see the scuttle crab on the right side getting taken out. So this view, it's always great to have an overview of the game. It's actually quite sick to see that, and super really enjoying that kind of view that we see from that. What do we call it? We just call it an elevated camera.
Elevated camera. I mean, whatever it is, you can only experience it right here on this stream.
Exactly, and that's something super cool to always see. And the Tristana right now, once again, might be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah,
I think she's dead.
Tristana's by herself right there, not knowing what she's doing, but she tries to burst off that Zaya, but she gets away with the sliver of health, so it's good on her right there.
Yeah, this Garen is just, he hurts. The Shen is not as tanky as he thought he was, and the Garen is just kind of getting up in his face.
Yeah,
and this is a very aggressive Garen game that we have actually kind of seen, because last time we couldn't see too much, and now Thresh also managing to hook the Baron there. Oh, Jarvan coming in here.
And Zaya uses a
what a lovely cataclysm, but he immediately gets bursted down.
Okay, both top laners are in the bot side, so it's 4v4, and Team Mystics actually gets the Garen off there, and they are trying to do this Baron right now. Thresh is actually making his way towards the Baron, and he is noticing what is happening right now in terms of their teleports. Neither top laner has teleports, and we see Thresh with a beautiful hook which is coming right now. Oh, the Zaya is going pretty aggressive right now and gets that Thresh, and ooh, that's a lot of things happening all at once.
Tristana actually comes in once again and starts right clicking, doing so much damage, and the shield!
Shen is coming in right now using that shield on the Kindred and gets away right there. Okay, that was a lot of things which just happened all at once, but Garen gets the red team tier 2 bottom tower right there.
But the most important thing is that they stopped the Baron. They lost a few kills there, obviously, because the Garen wasn't there, and that was a lot of the DPS. But the way Team Mystics played that fight was really good, so hopefully we can get a replay to kind of break it down, because there's some really good plays. And even the Jarvan did his best to try and get that Cataclysm off onto the two champions on the side of Team Mystics, but he wasn't. At the moment he used the Cataclysm, he immediately got bursted down. And if you didn't realize, the Xerath actually beautifully timed his stopwatch, dodging both the Syndra ultimate as well as the ability from the ultimate from Thresh, where he just kind of caged the Xerath in and immediately is using the stopwatch, just like kind of mitigating all the damage that would come out from the Syndra and forcing her to kind of overcommit. And it seemed like she was going to get most of the kills, but she didn't have any abilities off cooldown, which kind of brought her into this very put her in this really bad situation. And it looked good even when Tristana jumped in. It looked like she would get 2 kills, get the resets and keep chasing, but the shield, the amount of shields that came from the Shen in that fight onto the Kindred just kind of turned it around completely on their head.
And we see for the side of LGN Pax, they did get that second Cloud Drake, so that's 2 Cloud Drakes going to the side of LGN Pax, so they are going to be quite speedy there. And Tristana's trying to get that Scuttle, and we see the ultimate coming in by the Xerath, trying to ult that Tristana down. We also see the Maokai ultimate coming in, a lot of ultimates being used on the side of Team Mystic.
Yeah, they've used the Maokai ultimate, they use the Xerath ultimate as well, and Xerath actually managed to connect with almost 100% of his hits right there onto the Tristana, only missing the one where she used the lantern to kind of move away towards the Thresh, so she wouldn't get hit by the Maokai ult. But even with that, really great heads up play coming out from Xerath just to connect onto everything.
Oh, that was a close hook right there, and they are going to be able to get this tier 2 mid tower. Okay.
The Thresh needs to be careful here.
And the ultimate being used by the Tristana just to put some distance in between them, and she has done just that. And honestly, I feel like this Garen is going to be a huge problem right now, because the Shen is unable to deal with this Garen right now, honestly. I
mean, he has picked up a Surge Gauge as well, so he's super tanky. He has a Trinity Force for damage as well as a lot of that output that he kind of needs to kind of burst someone down.
Zaya just closed right there, okay. Syndra just used her ultimate on the Xayah, not doing much damage. The Xayah also in return did use her ultimate, so neither of them has their ultimate. And we see the Garen actually moving to the mid lane right now. What is happening? They are going super aggressive, but
he's getting controlled up. He's taking so much damage right now.
Yep, a hook coming in by the Thresh and flays away that Xerath and gets that kill.
Oh, what a cataclysm! What a cataclysm!
Look at that Tristana doing so much damage in the back line right there.
Oh, that was a lovely cataclysm from the Jarvan right there. Finally catching a break. Sure, he's 0 and 5, but what a lovely cataclysm. The Tristana, like you said, just going into town, and suddenly LGN Pax from the grave coming back into this game and just taking down the T3, the tier 3 tower right there, getting the inhibitor as well in this mid lane, and wow.
That is definitely a good team fight going for the side of LGN Pax right there.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was great. And you know, the Garen actually managing to run into 5 champions and walking away. Actually, unfortunately, the Garen was saved by Kindred's ultimate. Because he actually didn't take a few right clicks coming in from the Xayah, because he was actually invulnerable during that stage, and then he even had the ignite on him. So a lot of the damage that he was supposed to actually receive was mitigated because the Kindred actually used the ult, and probably it was in a very defensive positioning there, but it worked out for the Garen, and the Garen actually managed to get out, but then the lantern was placed by the Thresh for the Jarvan to get in, get a 3-man cataclysm. So we'll just take a look at the fight once again, breaking it down. So here we see the Garen moving in from the right side right there, using that Q to move faster, going on to the Maokai actually. So here that is getting poked once again. I think this is where we saw the Kindred getting hit by the ultimate. So here we can see Garen actually moving in from the right side once again, trying to get that silence. Does actually getting on the Maokai, but barely takes any damage, and you can see him even with the shield taking so much damage, and now that invulnerability mitigating so much damage. And here comes the cataclysm onto 3 from that Jarvan there. Look at the damage output.
And I mean, the Tristana had a really good positioning right there. She was just waiting right there on the side, and she had a bomb on one champion, and she just blew everyone over, and she had like a perfect positioning right there.
Yeah, and definitely, and obviously with the Syndra's gravity ball as well, just doing so much damage in that cataclysm, because everyone is just grouped up and stuck. But what an amazing engage coming in from LGN Pax, and suddenly they have at a 2.7 oh, what a stun coming out from the Syndra
and
there.
We see the Thresh coming in with a hook, but unable to get anything, and Maokai also using his ultimate, but not able to get anything. We see Garen in the bot side just pushing by himself. No one can stop him right now. He's got a 350 gold bounty on him also, and he's just trying to poke down that inhibitor tower over there on the side of Team Mystic.
No, he's actually doing so much damage to this tower in the bot lane, and it's
no
actually,
one's answering. Like
he actually gets the tower. Like, oh my god!
Right, everyone's everywhere because they have to respond to that Garen right now. See, LGN Pax is actually playing the map really great right now. They know how to tackle this. And we also got the Kindred on the side, so he will probably try and do a steal.
Oh, Kindred even flashed out there.
Flash over there, yeah.
And look at the Garen right now.
I think he will be able to take the inhibitor right now. I mean, Shen's not able to do anything. He's just staying on the side lane. Okay.
Like one more hit, and the inhib in the bot lane is gone as well. This Garen is doing work right there, and they might actually get these kills. The ultimate coming out onto the Kindred there, but immediately just managing to get that stopwatch as well. Will she be able to get out? No, she will not. She actually gets taken down. Baron was taken, but who actually looks like we actually see.
Look at this Garen. He's getting the inhibitor towers right now.
The coordination coming out from LGN Pax right now is so great. Yeah, I mean, just having the Garen split push, they managed to get the Baron as well. So you can see the Baron power play timer on the left side. On the side of LGN Pax right there, sure they lose the Syndra, but they get the Baron buff. The Garen gets the bottom inhibitor. They're making plays all around the map, forcing Team Mystics to either lose this objective or the next one. They choose the Baron instead of the inhibs. The Shen can't do anything, and he gets chased down by the Garen, and this Garen, just because of that start that he had, is just doing so much work in this game. It's crazy. And the funny part is Team Mystics have more kills than the side of LGN Pax.
Oh yeah, that's actually very questionable right there. I just noticed that 11 and 16. Okay.
That's a 5 kill difference. That is with getting bounties as well. So it's a testament to how well LGN Pax is just kind of using the map, trying to get, use those resources on the map, get as much net worth as they can. I mean, they were always behind in kills from the start of the game. There was at one point where there were 2 kills to Team Mystics 1, but Team Mystics has always been managing to get better team fights, but through just the right decision making, taking the right fights at the right time, LGN Pax has really just kind of climbed their way back into this game, and it's a huge testament to them. I think even the Zaya the double kill in the bot lane, going to that Garen was a huge impact into this game, and once again, what a beautiful hook.
Coming in with a hook, but I mean, it's a lot of things has happened right now, and a lot of favor has been going to the side of LGN Pax. And why do you think that? Where did it start?
I think initially it was definitely the bottom double kill, because they were actually fine. They were managing to sure, the Garen got 2 kills in the top lane, but the Shen was still leading in terms of items and the CS that he was having. But then once they give that bottom lane double kill, because Jarvan is having a really bad game. He's at 0 and 5. The Tristana wasn't doing great. And the only person who was doing okay was the Syndra, right? Even the Thresh is like it's support. It's not a huge impact, but he has a decent amount of control that he brings. But this Garen is the one that is enabling LGN Pax right now, and that double kill in the bot lane I think was the turning point, because that gave him the 200 gold bounty from the Zaya as well as a decent amount of gold from the Maokai to finish those items, and now he's just this unkillable force in the game.
Yeah, he's just here taking inhibitors left and right, and no one can deal with him. Not even the Shen is like trying to match him, and Zaya's all there by himself, but she's not able to do anything. And we see Baron up minions attacking the inhibitor tower, the only thing which is standing right now, and it's not looking good at all for the side of Team Mystics.
No, it is not. Look at the damage coming out from this Baron powered turret as well. I mean, look at the damage going onto this tower. It's not going to last for a very long time, and with that they have such great poke with the Syndra as well, and this the Garen is just being super annoying on the rest of the map. You have 4 people on the top lane, you have Garen in the bottom lane.
We get hook coming in by the Thresh, and Xerath has to use his stopwatch, and the Kindred just instantly dies. Wasn't even able to use his ultimate. Tristana's just coming in, popping over there, and Syndra's trying to use his ultimate on the Maokai. The Maokai dies, and the Shen is trying to clean off that Thresh, and does get the Thresh off. And everyone on
the ultimate from the Garen to finish off the Zaya as well.
It's just straight going down. It's actually 2v2 right now, and the Garen goes down. And somehow, some way, Team Mystics comes ahead with that on that team fight, but all of their objectives has actually fallen down.
Yeah, so they just lost the inhibitor. So they managed to win that fight. There was really good coordination with just managing to split the fight, because usually you see that Cataclysm and the focus burst fire coming out from the Tristana. Tristana kind of just moved in very aggressively, took a few turret shots, flashed into the enemy lines, and the Zaya as well as the I believe they were chasing down the Shen or the Xerath at that time, and just kind of just turned around and bursted the Tristana, and there was really nothing that she could do. And the Garen was kind of just thinking whether he wants to join the fight or bring down the tower, or he wasn't really sure on what he wanted to do. And then the rest of the team was kind of fighting, and the Jarvan doesn't really have a lot of damage. He's very behind in terms of items and where he wants to be at this situation of the game. And once you lose that damage in the Tristana, there isn't really much that you can do. The Garen can only do so much, and you can see he had I think 350 gold bounty, which actually went the way of the Garen the Shen as well. So it would have been better if it went towards the Zaya or something like that, but end of the day, Shen getting it is also not the worst thing in the world. So he can maybe get a little bit more tanky, make a few more plays. But right now, Team Mystics, they need to kind of just chill in their base, give up all the map control to the side of LGN Pax, and wait for those inhibitors to come back up until they can actually make a move.
I mean, the only way how even Team Mystics can pull out anything is if LGN Pax makes some mistakes. That's the only way how they can capitalize on this match. But besides that, it's very hard for them to proactively try and make any moves which will try and favor them.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, I don't feel like Team Mystics needs to get aggressive. They need to find that defensive fights that they found in that last engagement as well. As long as they manage to bring down this Tristana and the Garen, I think they'll be perfectly fine, because no one else really does bring a decent amount of damage. Maybe the Syndra actually does a decent amount of damage, but even her, when her abilities are on cooldown, you can always burst it down with your Zaya Zaya or any combination of stuns that they do have available with them, and with that they're going to go in for that Baron power play once again.
I mean, Team Mystics just has to make this fight right now because it's all or nothing right now. They've lost everything on the side, you know, all their objectives, so they definitely have to put up a fight and try and take this Baron down.
Yeah, they need to try and steal this Baron now, falling very low,
just flashes and he actually gets the smite down. Kindred uses his ultimate right there, gets away from the Baron pit, and actually they end up killing 2 people on the side of LGN Pax.
I mean, we're talking about LGN Pax making mistakes, and this looks like one of it. And Syndra, I mean, the Kindred with the play right there, just flashing in with the smite, getting that last hit onto the Baron.
Yeah, and now they're trying to go for the Elder too. So if they get this, they will have a pretty good chance of coming back. Hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. And once again, right now, we see Team Mystics in the lead in terms of net worth right now. And this is how the chart should have been, but it's only a 0.5k difference in gold right there. So here's the play once again in slow motion. The flash comes in, and what a last hit. Not even actually even using the smite there, and then managing to get out with her ultimate. Are you kidding me right now?
It's super crazy.
It's actually super crazy right there, and this Baron is going to help them hold their base even more once again. So you can see LGN Pax just making those mistakes that you were talking about. We were wondering how they were going to throw the game, and the Baron was the way they were going to throw the game, Shera. And now we have a game on our hands.
And we also see the 2 inhibitors coming, you know, bottom and mid side. The inhibitors are back up for the side of Team Mystics, so that is always good. And the best thing about what's happening for Team Mystics is that they have the Baron on their side, and they also have the Elder on their side. But the one question is, how are they going to be able to deal with this Garen, because he is the toughest problem right now.
Yeah, even with the Garen, you can see the rest of the team just trying to move forward, but the Xerath is just doing so much poke damage, bringing the champions down so low.
The Jarvan super low right there, and actually even the Garen couldn't come closer to the Zaya because that Elder buff was doing so much damage. So it's looking good for the side of Team Mystics right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're managing to hold off against LGN Pax's advantages right there, and even Garen, you know, not being able to move in aggressively like he did previously, where was this unstoppable force just running in and taking those inhibitors.
And now we see on the aggressive, we see Team Mystics pushing down that mid lane, getting that tower. I think they will be able to get this tower down too, and we see that the beautiful sky cam once again, so just running down this mid lane is the side of Team Mystics there with the Elder Dragon, as well as the Baron power play buff still in play for 1 more minute. And Team Mystics, they are confident right now. The Zaya is strong, the Shen is strong, they know exactly what they want to do. Golden City right there. Can they manage to get a few pokes in? If this Xerath can get a few pokes in and do a decent amount of damage before they engage, they might actually just win the game right off that. Oh man, they're actually pushing this out really hard. Okay, what's happening right now is everything is taking a turn, and after that play, it's costed them so much. And these guys, Team Mystics, is trying to get that inhibitor down, and they take it down. Yeah, they're giving it up. It's only pushing super hard. Shen comes in with a flash right now, gets a beautiful taunt, and Kindred is going in super hard. He just uses his stopwatch right now. Is he going to use his ultimate? And yes, he does use his ultimate. Shen is going to ult the Kindred right now, trying to get away from there. He does get away, and oh, the Tristana actually getting taken out. Wait, I think this game is over. 3 people down on the side of LGN Pax, and they are going to be able to finish this game right now. What is going on? Xerath has to use his stopwatch right there. Oh, what a hook! What a hook! Yeah. The hook actually saved that they managed to bring down the Zaya. Oh my god, and the flash forward, they actually bring down the Maokai as well. And the tide is actually turning. It was 4 against 2. But the Syndra, with all that damage output, actually managing to poke down. An amazing hook coming out from the Thresh there to grab the Zaya, and then with the burst damage coming out from Syndra. This game is not even over. The Baron buff is gone. What is happening right now? Super crazy game what's happening right now. Actually, Team Mystics could have pulled this game, and it would have been so amazing to actually have seen them won, but they actually got a little bit cocky. They came in 2-4, they weren't patient enough, and the Thresh actually landed a beautiful hook, and it just really made way for LGN Pax to try and make a comeback again.
Yeah, I mean that was like those plays were just crazy. I mean, I thought it was over because we
Yeah.
saw with Tristana, like, you know, the problem about getting one kill in the when you're defending is that you get this issue with bloodlust in the game, where bloodlust in the sense where you get one kill, you're like, okay, we're 4 versus 5, we're just gonna, you know, keep going, and that's exactly what happened to Tristana. She flashed forward, she leaped in, she's like, okay, I'm 100% going to get another, you know, reset. She immediately gets hit by a Zerath, I think it was his W, and then he just lost so much HP, and then the Zai directly in once got a crit, and then we saw the Tristana just evaporate, and then we're like, okay, this game is over. But then suddenly the hook once again.
Ooh, we see Zerath also using his ultimate but not able to get anything, and the Thresh is by himself. He's got nothing else to do, but we see the Garen coming in from the side, but the Thresh just instantly dies, and the funny thing is, like, the Team Mystics doesn't have Infernal this time, no Baron this time, so they have to definitely play it a little careful, but actually everything is going in favor for the side of Team Mystics, and all 4 of them rather, are recalling right now to their base, and we see the 3D view, and we see 4 people coming in mid on the side of Team Mystics. They are just charging on that mid lane.
They're looking to end this game. They don't want to drag it anymore, but right now, you know, they are in the driver's seat. 4K goal lead right now, and what a turn this game has taken, and
it's
suddenly
crazy game which we have over here. Challenger finals. I mean, this is definitely the I honestly wasn't expecting this level of gameplay right here. It's super crazy. I honestly cannot believe it. Oh man, they are trying to go in for the kill right now. They're trying to end it. Thresh is actually okay. He's actually back up, and we see Cinder with a beautiful stun coming in. Thresh is coming in with his home guard, trying to use that hook but misses it, and just steps back, waits for their turn. Shen trying to use that taunt.
Oh, he's going to take so much damage from these towers.
Big mistake right there.
Oh, the Garen is doing so much damage right now, and looks like Team Mystics might be throwing the other way.
No, they're actually making it. They're actually making the comeback. Out of 5 people.
They are still all alive, and that is going to be game number 1 over with Team Mystics taking game number 1 over LGN Pax. And what a game number 1 that was in this grand final.
But I was actually expecting LGN Pax to try and make that win, right? Because the way how they were going in, right, I thought, okay, they would be able to kill the entire team of Team Mystics, but actually I'm like looking, right, okay,
no one was dying, right? No one was dying.
Yeah, like crazy. I mean, I think also that Kindred Ultimate really did play a part. Like, they were, you know, alive. So, you know, props going out to the Kindred for...
Yeah, so before we break down the game even further, Shera, let's head on over to a quick commercial break, so that will give us a chance for you and me both to catch our breath after an exciting game number 1. Yeah, and the best part is we're not even done yet, so there is still possibly 2 more games. So we'll have to wait and see how that game goes. But before that, we're going to head into a short commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. And once we come back, we're going to have a post-match analysis for you. To Gamer.lk Clans League of Legends League Challenger League Grand Finals game number 1.
Definitely a challenger performance coming in right
there. What an insane game right there. So few things that we wanted to cover in terms of how things went. I feel like Team Mystics overall, their laning stage was they're actually really good. Their laning stage, their vision control during the start of the game, and then obviously with that Maokai support, which we were not expecting whatsoever, they really made it work. Actually, the bot lane did a really great job. Top lane suffered a bit with that rotations coming in from the Syndra. I felt like mid lane was quite even in terms of how they kind of, you know, came up against each other. The Syndra didn't outplay the Zerath didn't outplay the Syndra. They both just kind of sat there and farmed, but the Syndra was looking for those, you know, snowbally, wanting to get those kills, so she went and connected with the Garen, and the Garen then, you know, he seemed to be having a really great game. He got a solo kill on that Shen even when he thought that he was going to die.
A lot of work trying to get those inhibitors and all that solo by himself. He was unstoppable. Even the Shen couldn't do anything against him. But that comeback though.
Yeah, so a few things actually happened. So the first thing that gave LGN Pax the advantage even after Team Mystics had a really great laning stage, especially with all that coordination and winning those early game fights, was giving the double kill over to the Garen in the bot lane. So the Zaya as well as the Maokai going down and giving that double kill to the Garen gave them a lot of confidence. It gave them that ability to make the plays, and like you said, picking up that the Dragon as well as the Baron when the Garen was split pushing. That's a lot of runs. But anyway, managed to just put that split put pressure, and then they lost all 3 inhibitors. It looked like the game was over for the
like even the inhibitor towers, everything was gone, and what happened was LGN Pax was actually trying to start the Baron, and there you go, everything just rotated from the side of Team Mystics.
So even before the Baron play, I felt like there was no real reason for LGN Pax to take the fight in their base when they got that initial the top inhibitor. So there was really no reason for them to take that fight, but then they got divided. So Jarvan doesn't have too much damage because he was having a horrid game, to be honest. He was having a horrid game. I think he was 0-8 by the end of 0-5, 0-6 at that point in the game, and he was not in a very happy place. It's not the place that you want to be as a Jarvan. But anyway, they got divided with the Thresh Jarvan as well as the, I believe it was Thresh, Jarvan as well as Syndra. So Syndra had already used most of her skills, but those 3 were isolated and fighting 2 different people, while the Garen was actually trying to take the tower, so he was not even in the fight at all. The Tristana jumped in with her mobility and then flashed on to try and bring down the Xerath as well as the Zaya, but they immediately turned around and bursted Tristana down, and when you lose all that damage and when you don't have 1 damage sword in the fight, you're anyway going to lose. And then that is where Shen actually managed to get a 300 gold bounty by killing the Garen as well. And then they went for this Baron power play, but the MVP for that moment, I think the MVP who deserves this game is definitely the Kindred. The Baron steal as well as those ultimates. Only 1 ultimate I think throughout the whole game was the only one that benefited the side of LGN Pax. Everything else was on point. They did a really great job, and they deserve to take game number 1 in that scenario.
Definitely, that Kindred coming in, because it's their only chance. They had to make that play. It was all or nothing. They've lost all the inhibitors. If they give that Baron over to the side of LGN Pax, it's game over. They just come into their base, they just destroy everything. Kindred made a really bold play, coming in super hard, using his flash also, and gets that Baron, and it just made all the difference. They were able to get 2 kills after that, and then they went over to Elder, they got that, and then everything just turned around for the side of Team Mystics.
So that is going to be the action for game number 1. We still have 2 more exciting games.
Maybe 2 more.
Maybe 2 more exciting games for you guys who are watching at home. So please do stay tuned to find out who is going to be the Challenger League champions. So we're going to be taking a very, very short break, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be back very shortly with game number 2. So stay tuned till then. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Gamer.lk Clans League of Legends League GCLL Grand Finals, where we just saw Team Mystics take game number 1 over LGN Pax. So once again, I'm your caster for the day. My name is Azman, and joining me is going to be Shera. And what a game number 1 that was.
That was a crazy game right there. So hoping for more action-packed excitement coming in.
Yeah, definitely. If that was the game number 1 that we got, imagine what the game number 2 is going to be like.
I definitely feel like a lot of the team will definitely brush up on what had happened. A lot of mistakes coming through as well. So I'm pretty sure game number 2 we will have something solid coming in. Yeah,
definitely. I feel like they'll probably know what kind of game plan Team Mystics is running with, and I think most of the issues can be sorted if they actually just take out the Kindred off the pool, and if they get the Kindred off the pool, they might have a better chance of just running the same comp again. But as long as they make fewer mistakes, because both teams actually had quite a good opportunities to close out the game, but just kind of letting the emotions take control instead of their logical thinking. Just try to keep a straight head, go for the objectives instead of the kills. I think they were a little bit too aggressive on the side of LGN Pax, especially during that phase where they were having that advantage. But I feel like Team Mystics definitely pulled it together even after losing 3 of their inhibs, and obviously on the back of Kindred's Baron steal, which was insane. But once again, before we do start, a huge shout out to our sponsors, whom without we would not even be having a grand finals. So Freemi, our official banking partner, obviously once again with their very convenient online banking section, giving you a lot of cash back on the things that you want to spend on, and giving you the convenience of having a debit card on your phone. And then next up we have Pereira and Sons. Right now, we could probably use a iced coffee from Pereira and Sons. Pick ourselves up for possibly a game number 2 and a game number 3 as well. We're definitely going to get a game number 2, but definitely if there is a chance of a game number 3, we'll probably be needing that pickup. So definitely PNS, our food sponsors right there, and with that we have MSI, our laptop partners with some of the greatest gaming peripherals as well as laptops from in the country, actually, not just in the country but overall in the globally as well. And with that we'll be getting into game number 2. So take it away, Shara.
And we see on the side of my question right now is LGN gonna be also on the blue side again?
So looks like they will be on the blue side again, but with that looks like same bans. They've taken out most of the ones that we saw in the last game as well.
Not a lot of changes, not a lot of respect bans or anything like that. Nothing like banning the Garen out or the Kindred out. And actually we see bans coming out for the side of LGN. It's going to be Yorick, Rakan and Wukong. On the side of Team Mystics with the Orianna, Mumu and the Ahri, respecting the Ahri once more again. And we see on the side of LGN picking up the Nocturne. And on the side of Team Mystics, they have picked up the Jarvan this time, right? And also they picked up the Malzahar. And as we can see, LGN picking up that Nautilus support, super strong right now in the meta, so they definitely did get their hands on that Nautilus this time.
Yeah, I'm wondering why they would pick the Malzahar when the Xerath is actually working so well for them, and now in this situation where they actually managed to pick up the Jarvan, they have a really, really strong combination with the Xerath as well as the Jarvan, so we'll wait and see. But with that, we actually see Nautilus and Illaoi being picked up by LGN Pax. So the Team Mystic top laner is going to have a decent amount of mobility to get out of the range of Illaoi's E, or he's going to be taking a lot of damage, and he's just one of those heroes is so difficult to engage on. And looks like it's going to be Poppy.
I'm actually a big fan of Poppy. I feel like she just has a lot of versatility, and she's got that ultimate, and she's got a huge amount of shield, and plus she can make all these crazy plays, just go passing by them and just smash them into a wall, and you have a stun also over there. So it's a lot of plays which you can make out with and Illaoi.
Yeah, definitely, but the Illaoi, I think during the laning stage will have a leg up on the Poppy, just because of the fact that Poppy doesn't have a lot of mobility. So if she does not manage to block Illaoi's E, she's going to be losing at least a quarter to maybe even half of her HP, depending on who kind of comes out on top in the CS in the lane as well. So that is something to definitely look out for, and depending on whether the Illaoi is a really great player or the Poppy is an even better player, I think it will come down to obviously who outplays who. But in terms of matchups, I feel like during the laning stage, Illaoi does have a very, very strong laning stage if he does manage to land that E, but his strength really shines once he hits level 6, and you have all those tentacles kind of just bashing up on you, and you just start taking so much damage. The Malzahar is very interesting pick from Team Mystics. So Malzahar in general is actually quite strong right now, and the way he can be played, so it'll be interesting to see who LGN Pax kind of picks up to kind of counter the Malzahar. But with that, looks like we actually see Caitlyn as well as Zaya. I keep like everything just keeps confusing me. I'm sorry. So Zaya is getting taken out as well, and then on the side of Team Mystics, I believe. Ooh.
The Vayne coming in on the side of Team Mystics as their ADC, and we also see Team Mystics actually taking out that Syndra, respecting that ban and respecting actually LGN Pax. You know, the mid laner played quite a formidable Syndra, so actually taking her out of the picture.
And Syndra would be it'll be very easy for Syndra to kind of poke down the Malzahar, and with that looks like it's going to be a Nautilus and Kai'Sa bot lane for the side of LGN Pax. So Team Mystics still waiting on their final pick, which is going to be the support with the Vayne. So probably might even get to see that Galio once again in this game as well, but we'll have to wait and see on that pick. But right now LGN Pax took they just need to kind of pick up their last pick right there. Should be the mid laner to kind of round off that draft right there, and it's going to be Lux.
Okay, very interesting right there. Lux is not quite meta, but if you can actually get like a decent amount of snares and, you know, maybe one of those ultimates, is definitely going to pay out for the side of Team LGN Pax.
Yeah, in terms of Malzahar versus Lux, I feel like it'll come down to who actually managed to hit their skill shots. But if Malzahar can drop the Lux into a very good HP threshold, he can always just flash and ult. And my prediction on the Galio was on spot right there. So we saw them running in that game against LLG as well, so that's going to be very interesting. We saw how dominant the Vayne Galio combination is going to be against the Nautilus and the Kai'Sa, especially with that mobility coming out from Galio and the taunt as well. So if they do manage to focus on the Kai'Sa, she doesn't have a decent amount of mobility during the early games of the early stage of the game until she picks up her ultimate. So we might even see her burning a very early flash if he gets caught out of position, and the Nautilus is going to have to make a few plays, try to maybe engage onto the side of Team Mystics before they engage onto them, maybe take a more proactive role than a reactive role, which is going to be interesting. But right now, to be honest, I feel like other than the top lane, I feel like Team Mystics has a really good draft right now overall.
Really good draft. I mean, considering that they've got the Jarvan, they've got the Galio, you know, just imagine Jarvan, ulti, and then the Galio coming on the top just like that.
Yeah,
it's definitely going to be trouble right there. So I'm just already getting, you know, all these vibes, all these images in my head, thinking, you know, how Team Mystics is gonna pull this thing off.
And like just having the Cataclysm and then the Vayne just tumbling over and over again, just dealing, you know, dishing in damage to whoever is stuck inside. I mean, Kai'Sa might be, is probably the only one who can right now. Maybe Kai'Sa and Nocturne are the only two who can kind of get out of the Cataclysm right now without having to use Flash right there, because Kai'Sa can always use her ultimate, and you know, we can see Nocturne with his ultimate as well, just trying to jump into a different target if that actually allows him to get out of Cataclysm. So that's a play that is always viable for them to make. But other than that, right now I feel like Team Mystics, as long as this Jarvan has a very good game, I feel like they're going to have a very good time in this game, and they'll be able to probably close it out 2-0, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, anything can happen. We saw LGN Pax also throwing in that previous game, so that is a typical Lankan trait. So even in the game that I used to mainly play, which is Dota, by the time you hit 40 minutes, one of the Sri Lankan teams is 100% going to throw the game the other way. So that seems to be the same. It seems to apply to almost every single game.
I mean, but that first game was though on a next level different type of crazy, because like all the inhibitors, like all the structures, all the objectives went down, but still they couldn't close it, and Team Mystics just comes with a win. That was absolutely fantastic game.
Yeah, definitely fantastic game number one. We're expecting the same from game number two. I think the matchups are a little bit more Team Mystic favored right now. I feel like the Nocturne is going to have to do a lot of work, because the Jarvan is going to be able to need a few levels. He's going to have jungle for quite a while, but Nocturne can become a bit more active a lot sooner. But it will come down to which lane and whether he can actually successfully gank them or not. So those things are going to change the impact of the game. Maybe if they can get their top laner, the Illaoi, really strong, it's going to be very difficult, because sure, Poppy has a very good kit, but right now to deal with the Illaoi in the sense of the laning stage is actually in a very bad spot right there. So because once Illaoi hits level 3, she can always just, if she, like, it comes down to whether you hit your skill shots or not. So if you do manage to hit that E with Illaoi, you can do so much damage. Because once again, you know, so Illaoi versus Riven is a matchup that I've studied quite a bit, because obviously I play Riven and I've studied a lot of matchups, and that's usually how I tend to pick up my games most of the time. And you know, I didn't, so initially when I was playing against Illaoi, every time he E'd me, I would just run into him. And then later on I realized that there is a range for his E, and if you run out of it, it kind of makes the soul kind of disappear immediately. Exactly. And that way you take a lot less damage. So I learned that the hard way. So but you know, in that case, you know, most of the time Riven is actually quite easy to get out, because you can always use the E and Q follow up to kind of get that extra mobility. You don't need to burn anything too much, as long as you don't, you know, keep track of your, if you keep track of your cooldowns, you're good.
Yeah.
But with Poppy, she doesn't really have that much mobility. She has to literally walk out of range. So if she even hesitates for 2 seconds or even a second in the matter of that to kind of start running the other way after he gets eat by Ilawi, she's going to take a lot of damage.
It's going to be definitely a very interesting matchup over the Ilawi versus Poppy. I've never seen that. But talking about the bot lane matchup, we see the Vayne and the Galio versus the Kai'Sa and the Nautilus. How do you think it is going to pan out?
So the last time that we saw the Vayne and Galio, they actually did a really good job against, I believe it was Kai'Sa as well as Morgana. So that was a very interesting matchup, and we actually before the game we thought, okay, Kai'Sa and the Morgana, with the black shield, they actually have a much better time because she can always remove the taunt from the Galio. But she always timed the Galio, actually timed it quite well, forcing the Morgana to kind of use the black shield and then going in with the taunt with the Galio. So they have a decent amount of synergy. They seem to have played that the duo quite well. So I think it will come down to who positions better than the other person, because if the Nautilus manages to get the hook off onto the Vayne, I feel like Kai'Sa as well as the Nautilus can dish out a decent amount of damage onto the Vayne if they can grab him. So I think you want to avoid grabbing the Galio unless he kind of presents himself to you to be like a free kill, because always Galio can always turn it around and go in for the taunt as well as the charge, and that will make it very difficult. And Galio also having that ability to kind of just disengage as well, so he can always charge away from the enemy instead of rather into them. So he always has that defensive option as well, but it will be always better to kind of be more proactive than reactive in this lane. I think the team that kind of executes that better is going to win. But in that sorry, solely if it's a 2-on-2 situation, obviously the jungle champion is always going to impact the bot lane. So depending on whether Jarvan reacts more or whether they're actually successful in getting the EQ off, because in the previous game the Jarvan really couldn't get his EQs off most of the time, and that made it very difficult for them to kind of get anywhere into the game. Because if that Jarvan had a few kills and a few more items a little bit faster, I feel like the game would have been completely different. But he was literally suffering throughout the whole game. Just had 0 and 5.
Actually, let's at least hope that LGN Pax actually has a good jungling phase for the Nocturne. At least if he survives well, he doesn't have to dominate, but at least if he can stay on par with the opposing jungler, which is a Jarvan, if he can stay toe to toe with him, at least then things will actually look good for the side of LGN.
Yeah, definitely. I think there'll be a lot of little things that kind of impact the game that is going to be quite difficult for them to kind of execute for both teams, not just one team in particular. But that mid lane matchup is another matchup that is super crucial, and I feel like in terms of how the game is going to go, at some point of the game the Lux is going to fall off. While the Malzahar is not going to. The Malzahar is going to be doing quite well throughout the whole game, and Lux kind of only has that burst damage through her ult, and show at level 3, when your ultimate is level 3, show you a very short cooldown on it. But once you get a little bit of those magic resistance items, there isn't much that Lux actually brings to the table.
I think part of the reason also why the Malzahar, the actual Team Mystics actually did also pick Malzahar is because he's actually good in the meta right now, and also because I feel like what happened last game was that Xerath wasn't that impactful, like mid game wise he wasn't that impactful. Like late game he did a lot of damage with his ultimate, but mid game he wasn't much. So I think they kind of wanted to go something which is quite meta and quite powerful.
So once again we have our Sky Cam available just to see the rotations being made out by these teams right now. So we have
Nautilus looking quite cute right there.
Yeah, the Nautilus is actually looking great right there. So really great view of the overall way the teams are going to be playing this, and that is something you won't be getting anywhere else. So the Sky Cam just being very exclusive to our Gamer.lk streams right here. So once again, I mean, we saw something that seemed like it was going to be an invade, but then we saw the Malzahar just moving to the top area. And once again the minions have spawned, so we'll be seeing both the junglers starting at red, it looks like. So it's going to be both the Nocturne as well as the Jarvan. They're starting off at the red buff. So top lane, the Poppy will be a little bit late getting into the lane. So if the Ilawi does manage to take a little bit of control, he might be able to get level 2 before the Poppy, and that way might even see even more pressure coming out onto the Poppy in already a very difficult matchup.
So what I see from the side of Team Mystics is that they are actually waiting. The Vayne and the Galio is just waiting around, not showing their presence. They are trying to show them, that they actually leased the Jarvan, right? So they're not going into lane. They're just waiting for that time, And right now they're in lane, so they're just trying to play mind games with LGN Pax right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think, just getting those mind games are definitely cool, and then just obviously trying to keep control of the lane right there, because it is always safer to kind of be farming or last hitting under your own tower. Like if you're good at it. I mean, if you're bad at
we see a level 2 gank coming in by the Jarvan. Oh, that is super crazy, but Ilawi actually just gets away, doesn't even have to use a flash right there, and that is exactly what they were trying to do, playing those mind games, making the Vayne and the Galio to come in late, making them show that they've actually leashed Jarvan on the blue side, but it wasn't the case. But unfortunately, I mean, Ilawi didn't even have to use any of her sum, so that's good on her.
Yeah, definitely. Ilawi just understanding that they really couldn't bring her down, but definitely not expecting that level 2 gank. And once again, Galio moving in and gets the taunt onto 2.
I mean, there are level 2 right now, the Vayne and the Galio, so they really shouldn't be messing around with the Kai'Sa and the Nautilus, but Kai'Sa just did a lot of damage on that Vayne right there, going over half health, so she definitely has to pop her health potion right there.
Yeah, definitely not a favorable trade. I mean, the Galio kind of went in, but the Nautilus and just being so tanky right there, making it so difficult for any of them to kind of make any sort of aggressive play onto the bot lane of the side of LGN Pax right there. Oh, and he actually lands the hook once again.
By the Nautilus, and Vayne's just gonna try and get some auto attacks. They used to ignite on the Galio, but unfortunately they wouldn't be able to clean up that kill. Vayne's getting poked right now. She has to go back.
Oh, what a hook!
Oh, we see both supports using their flashes, but what is Galio doing? Trying to go in for that Kai'Sa, and Vayne gets the kill on the Kai'Sa. First blood going into the Vayne, and a double kill going over to the Vayne. That is just super crazy what just happened. I mean, I feel like there was a point when they could have killed off that Galio, but he did not come in, and we see the Poppy right now smashing that Ilawi on the wall and not being able to do much, but that was double kill going over to the Vayne right there.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is going to change the dynamic of the bot lane very, very much. And once again, beautiful hook coming in here. Nice flash coming out from the Vayne here. The Kai'Sa just overextending a little bit. I think she had a window to kind of flash this. If she flashed this taunt, she wouldn't have died. Yeah. And then she flashed into them anyway, which is a huge mistake. And now she doesn't have that option available as well. So a little bit of slow reactions coming in from the Kai'Sa there. They could have probably turned around and baited the Vayne once again.
Ooh, we see the Jarvan coming in towards the mid side, and the Lux get knocked up. She's by herself. Does she have a flash? Yes, she does. She's also got a barrier for herself, so that's always convenient. And no summoner spells being, blown away on the mid side, so both parties, they just go to their respective lanes.
Yeah, but right now I feel like with the kill that they managed to get onto the Vayne, the 2 kills that they managed to get, you can see the items that he has already picked up. I've gotten a little bit of life steal as well, so that is something super important right now just to sustain in this lane, and he's going to be dealing so much damage. Already 150 gold bounty on the Vayne right here, and it's only 5 minutes into the game. So right now his bottom lane is doing really, really well, and with that Jarvan just putting up a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
a lot of pressure on the map.
It's definitely trying to come in and try and look for an opportunity, but Jarvan's going towards the river and just going back to the jungle. Nothing being taken, nothing much happening on the other lane, so it's just pretty passive right now, except for that Vayne, which has got that massive lead towards her side, and we also see like close to a 1k gold difference towards the side of Team Mystic, so that's good on them right there.
Yeah. So we expected the Nautilus to kind of be the one who, not the Nautilus, Nocturne to be the one to kind of just move around and kind of pressure the map. But right now I feel like the Jarvan is doing a really good job of that while keeping his CS up. So right now he's 25, so just about 4 CS behind the Nocturne, so which means he's not doing that bad. He's actually doing quite well for himself as well, because he's putting a lot of pressure on the map as well. And once again, Lux going in for that ulti just to burn it. But
I think she's trying to push the wave as soon as possible, so
she can recall probably.
Yeah, she doesn't have any mana. I think she definitely needs to recall right now, and we see bot lane trying to get that vision ward, and they do that. We see the Jarvan moving in towards the bot side and just trying to recall, not trying to do much. Oh, he's actually looking for an opportunity. He's moving towards the bot side. Maybe he will go through that bush and try and look for an opportunity to try and get a gank maybe. Ooh.
But it looks like he won't be able to get it. So the Nautilus going in for the D ward, both the Galio as well as
they're just pressuring this right now. They're going in super hard, and Jarvan's actually going to take his recall over there.
Yeah, definitely. I think Javin kind of lost his opportunity there. I don't think, he might want to stick around here, but with the wave pushing into them, I don't feel like it's going to be the best idea there for them to kind of move around and try to make a dive here right there, because they're not even at a health threshold that they can actually bring them down. So looking at the CS in the top lane is just about 1 CS difference, but that is with the lane pushing towards Poppy, so which means Ilaoi is still in a very good position to kind of pick up his CS as well. So once again, top lane just being one of those snooze fests where we just see them kind of farming up once again. So we haven't really seen the Ilaoi trying to do a decent amount of damage or harass to the Poppy right there. So with that, looks like the Galio is going to be able to get a nice D ward right there. And now Ilaoi managing to actually pick up the star there from the Poppy, so denying her those shields.
Oh, you can actually pick it up?
Yeah, you can pick it up.
Ooh, I didn't know that right there.
So you can always pick it up to kind of deny that extra shields that the Poppy will be getting. So usually when she just when she picks it up, it sometimes, most of the time, it actually does make quite a difference because you can do so much damage. But right now, the Ilaoi, once again, you can see the damage coming in from him. He still hasn't gone for any of his E's. He's very
we see a hook coming in by the Nautilus, and Galio is just going in super hard. They have a lot of damage, and they may be able to kill this Nautilus right now. Nautilus just moves into the side, accepts its fate, and just says, hey, just take me.
Yeah, I mean, very questionable play right there, because you know that the Vayne is kind of ahead right there. Now with that, it's going to put him even more ahead right there, making it so much more difficult.
Yeah, that is not good. You definitely do not want those kills on Vayne, especially this early. We see the Jarvan coming in top lane right now. A teleport coming in by the Malzahar. They are trying to do a 3v1 on this Ilaoi. That's super crazy. Poppy is almost going to die, but did not fall and just gets away just like that. Oh, that Lux ultimate, and the flash coming in by the Poppy. That was super close. And we see the bot lane right now, Galio and the Vayne just trying to get this mountain, because why not? It's super free. Nocturne's in the top side just doing his thing.
I mean, that was a sick flash. The reaction time on that was insane. They needed at least 3 champions right there to bring down the Ilaoi. Was definitely the right play, because otherwise I feel like the Poppy would have gone down 100%. They're taking so much damage, and if they didn't dish out the same amount of damage onto the Ilaoi with the rest of those champions, there is no way they get that kill. So understanding that and making that rotation, even the TP for it coming in, from
by the Malzahar.
The Malzahar was a huge play, because they needed that.
I mean, the crazy part was how much damage Ilaoi did with that ultimate right there. That Poppy almost died, and it was like 3v1.
Yeah, it was 3v1, and if you manage to get the Poppy, it would have been so worth, because you're always getting that rotation out as well. So, but with that, the Poppy is at least going to get an assist. She gets a decent amount of gold. You can see her already building in to a decent amount of armor to deal with the Ilaoi right now, going for 2 of those chainmails, it looks like. And once again, Ilaoi just coming in to pressure the Poppy here. Might get stunned up, going in once again. So we have our lovely Sky Cam here. We're just taking a look. The Lux looks like she's recalling all the way back to base. We have the Malzahar just sitting in this mid lane, being very happy with just getting these last hits right there. And Lux trying to make the plays for the team, but not being able to find any sort of answer. We almost saw a really cool snipe with the Lux ultimate onto the Poppy, but the quick reactions with the flash really helped her get out. But with that, they actually managed to get the first dragon as well on the side of Team Mystic. So right now they're in a very comfortable position, 1.5k goal lead. But I feel like if the Ilaoi can manage to do something, so he actually gets the E onto the Poppy once again. Poppy trying to force him out, but it's not. Look at the amount of damage that she's going to take from this. Look at the damage. There's actually so much damage that she actually takes, and that's a very, very favorable trade for the Ilaoi right there.
And we see Malzahar just trying to get one play down, not much, and just back away from there. We see Lux in the mid lane. We see also Nocturne moving towards the mid side. Now Nocturne does also have his ultimate, so that's always useful now. Hopefully he can make some plays, try and get some picks out, because I mean, on the side of LGN Pax, they really do need to make some plays right now.
Yeah, definitely. LGN Pax needs to try and get something on the board right there. They're just going for this farming game right now, and with the champions that they have available, I don't feel like it's the best option to go for. The Ilaoi taking a little bit of damage from the Poppy right there, but managing to just kind of get out for the moment.
We see the Nocturne on the back line just trying to get something on this bot side. We see Jarvan rotating towards that top side, and
Malzahar actually revealed him with that with the plant there. They know that the Nocturne is in that area. They pinged it as well, so Nocturne's gank might be for nothing right there. So you can see him already rotating out.
Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah, we also see the Vayne and the Galio actually moving towards the mid side. And something's happening in the mid side. I think they are actually chasing that Nocturne. Nocturne just gets away. They cannot do anything against that really fed Vayne right there. 300 gold bounty. She's 3-0, 99 CS, looking pretty healthy.
Yeah, definitely, and he picked up quite a few items right there. Already super strong, dealing a decent amount of damage.
Oh, they're just going in super hard right now. They just don't care.
That's a big
oh yes, they've got so much damage right now. It's just unstoppable. And Vayne's just gonna get her 4th kill right now. And I mean, they can really do it because they just don't care. I mean, the Vayne's got so much damage, and we see the ultimate coming in by the Malzahar, and Nocturne uses his ultimate on the Malzahar, and maybe he picks up this kill. Yes, he does pick up the kill, but that is actually 2 people going down on the side of LGN Pax. Here comes Illaoi.
Oh, he missed the E though.
Oh, here comes Galio. Also, he's just diving into the tower, and
so it looks like the Vayne also successfully managed to dive in the bot lane. The Darkseid gets taken down. So does the Nocturne. Nocturne actually managed to get the return kill onto the Malzahar, but even with that, Illaoi just missing a few too many key hits there, or skill shots right there, so not being able to get anything in return, just trying to back up at that moment, actually getting knocked away by the Poppy. So the Poppy actually went in and knocked the Illaoi.
So I was just expecting, where is Illaoi? Okay, she's knocked away, she's coming back. Okay, I just realized that.
So with that, a very dominant performance coming out from the side of Team Mystics. It's actually so difficult for the bot lane on the side of LGN Pax to do anything right there. And even the Nocturne going to the top lane, at least getting something for LGN Pax onto the board. And once again, we have the Sky Cam where we see Illaoi moving to the top lane. We have Lux now just pushing back this mid lane once again, just getting a decent amount of CS with that E skill of hers. But she doesn't seem to be able to pressure the Malzahar.
We see them the lovely mountains over there on the
so usually you don't see this. You don't see this. So
it's beautiful.
It's actually a really great view, and you can see even the Nocturne right now just picking up the blue buff, immediately going into Mr. Croaks. What do they call it?
Oh, here comes the Vayne. She's just using her ultimate, and she's flashing it super hard as well. She just doesn't care, and they will probably be able to get this Nautilus off too. They're going super aggressive. They just don't care at all, and the Vayne is actually 7-0, 500 gold bounty. Right now, it's just unstoppable what's happening at bot lane. They are not able to do anything.
I mean, right now this Vayne is huge. I mean, he is huge. Even picking up, the Moby boots right there, picking up a few components for his next item. So you can see the Vayne just flashing in. Look at the damage coming out from the tumble right there, coming in from the Vayne, not even afraid. And with the Galio taunt to secure it, there is nothing that this bot lane can do. We spoke about the combination coming out from Team Mystics. You need to respect this, and with that, they managed to bring down the first tower in this bot lane, and all they need to do now is rotate to the top lane, pressure the Illaoi, get them to switch the lanes, do the same thing, bring down the Kai'Sa and Nautilus once again, and just keep taking tower after tower along with these plates, and this Vayne is going to have insane amount of gold.
I mean, she's got a red buff right now. They've got like a 5k gold difference on the side of Team Mystics versus LGN Pax, so it's looking super crazy.
Look at the damage the Nautilus is taking, and usually Nautilus is this frontliner, super tanky, very difficult to deal with. But right now, the top lane has just been a snooze fest, and once again Poppy moving in very aggressively, gets eat up by the Illaoi. Probably not going to use the ultimate here, but does get a decent amount of damage off onto the Poppy. Almost half of her HP being taken off almost right there. And if she goes in once more, and if he gets the E this time from the Illaoi, you might see the Poppy actually going down. So far, rough game for LGN Pax. Poppy is healing up, does have that healing potion with her. So the pot is always available, double use.
Oh, we see the Vayne coming in again, trying to use that ultimate, and she just doesn't care. She just goes, every opportunity she gets, she just goes in right there. And they are probably going to clean up this Nautilus. Okay, maybe not. Galio used his stopwatch and just backs off right from there. We see the Malzahar moving towards the bot side. Lux is also moving towards the bot side right now. And we see the Jarvan going in towards the top side. They are going to be shredding this tier 2 bottom tower. And beautiful ultimate coming in by the Illaoi. They really need to stop that. They really need to get away from the Illaoi right now, because they definitely don't want to soak up all that ultimate damage from that Illaoi. One of the reasons, when Illaoi ults, you definitely have to step away from there. You don't need to be there because you're going to take a lot of damage.
Yeah, I think the best thing to do with especially when you're dealing with Illaoi is always try to bait out the ultimate and then just get out.
Get out. Yeah.
Especially if you have a decent amount of mobility. But using the Cataclysm there in the middle of Illaoi
not good.
is
not good.
Not the play. I mean, just the amount of damage coming out from that Illaoi there. Like the only thing is they need to find a way to deal with this Vayne right now, Shira. Because if they do not deal with this Vayne, he is going to start taking this game out of control. 152 CS. Look at the items he has picked up. He has so much damage right now.
He's got a Blade of the Ruin King and he's just super crazy. He's very stacked right now, in a very comfortable position.
Yeah, definitely. And the bot lane on the side of LGN Pax, 0-3 on Kai'Sa, 0-4 on the Nautilus. There are just going to be some very, very difficult dead weight in this game.
Yeah, I mean, would you feel that they kind of maybe got tilted from what happened the last game?
I don't think you should be like, especially at this level, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to be getting tilted, and with that looks like the Galio as well
as
just
coming in super hard, and they're gonna get the taunt off right there. Illaoi blows up her flash too, and they just get popped off just like that. You know, that's that Blade of the Ruin King coming into play. You know, taking a percentage of your max health also, so it's definitely, you know, good for shredding tanks.
Yeah, I mean, like, you would never guess, right? Looking at game number 1 and looking at this game right here. Oh, once again, Nocturne ulting, this time onto Malzahar. Coming in the ultimate from the Lux there. The fear is there as well. Kelim is actually getting the channeling.
Oh, and a beautiful flash coming in by the Nocturne too. He did not get that final tower hit, so he actually gets away. A good pickup by the Nocturne right there.
I mean, they need to make plays like this. They need to try to isolate champions and try to get.
I mean,
somehow.
I think that was the first time Nocturne even ulted, right?
Second time, because the initial time they fought in near the Herald pit, near the Baron pit, or when the Herald was up. Where he used it again, once again on the Malzahar when he ulted the Lux. But this time really good coordinated play, but the Vayne and the Nautilus is just running rampant in the lanes right now. There is nothing that they can do to kind of deal with him. At this point, the Vayne might be even strong enough to 1 versus 5. He plays his cards right.
They're trying to. Okay, Galio is just under tower. He shouldn't be over there, but it's kind of a misstep right there because he was supposed to go back and the Nocturne stepped forward onto the Galio.
Oh, the damage coming out from the Vayne right there. Nautilus, what are you doing?
Yes, a lot of damage right there. Cataclysm coming in by the Jarvan. They're going in super hard on this, and Vayne will be able to pick up that kill onto the Nautilus, and they are just pushing through. Vayne just doesn't care anymore. She just like goes in super hard.
I mean, the Vayne doesn't really need to care even after getting hit by the Lux ult. He doesn't really mind at all. The Illaoi right now looking for the Poppy right there. The rest of the team are very close and they can always converge to help out the Poppy right there. But this Vayne is just doing so much work. 700 gold bounty, 174 last hits at this point in the game. Picking up that the Scuttle Crab as well, getting a little bit of HP, but going all the way back to base because he has a lot of money to spend right now. And he's going to pick up his next item. So going in for a little bit of more critical damage with that Blade of the Ruin King like we were talking about, and that is going to just start chunking away on the side of LGN Pax. And this Vayne is, like I said, just about to hit very, very close to hitting critical mass, if not already at that point. The Lux having picked up that Luden's Echo right now, but not going to be able to do much unless they can focus down the Vayne, burst him down. I don't feel like there is much that LGN Pax can do to bring this game around, especially if they start taking 5-on-5 fights. And with that, they're going in for the next dragon as well, Shara.
It's going to be a Cloud Drake going over to the side of Team Mystic. They've got 3 dragons under their belt. They've got an ocean, they've got a cloud and a mountain, so it's looking pretty good for them. That Vayne is super hard to try and deal with. So what do you think LGN Pax can do in order to try and make a comeback?
At this point, if Team Mystics stick as a unit, there isn't much that they can do. But if they spread out, maybe if the Vayne kind of gets a little bit cocky and just kind of isolates himself, if they can gank him with multiple heroes and just get that gold bounty, they might be able to have a chance. But if they stick together like this, there's nothing that they can do.
Oh man, they're just going in super hard right now. Galio flashing in, using a taunt as well, and just the Vayne is just going super hard. She just doesn't care. She just does so much damage, and I think that will probably be a Baron over to the side of Team Mystic.
I think this game is pretty much over. Once they get this Baron, all they need to do is just kind of run down the mid lane, and there isn't too much that the side of LGN Pax can do.
Poppy is just doing her thing on the bot lane, and we see the Nocturne using his ultimate on the Poppy, but can the Nocturne really do anything? Okay, he uses a brilliant spell shield on that Nocturne.
Oh, he's actually managed to get out.
Oh, I thought that would be a kill, but you know, we also see Team Mystic picking up that Baron, which is going over to the side of Team Mystic. So great play over there. We also see the Baron power play countdown, which you can see on your right top corner, which is also very helpful.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, I feel like Team Mystics in the driver's seat right now, and look at the damage that the Ilawi is taking. There isn't damage. The Vayne, the Vayne at this point is just doing too much damage. It's very difficult for them to deal with. They don't have the burst once again. This Lux just proving not to be too useful in this game. I haven't seen too many plays coming out from the Lux. All she has been is kind of like a free pick-off for the side of LGN, for the side of Team Mystics actually. And you know, that burst damage not really coming into play. I mean, if you can't burst someone down, what's the point in picking up a Lux? Yeah. But right now I feel like they could have probably taken a few more. Oh, nice.
Beautiful ult coming in, but unfortunately not much damage in order to try and take that Vayne down. We see Poppy at the bot lane just doing her own thing, pushing with her Baron on the side, and we see 3 people at top, 1 person at mid. Malzahar pushing through, and they're just trying to, you know, take down their base right now.
Yeah, definitely. With the Vayne as strong as he is as she is right now, it's very difficult for LGN Pax to do anything. So best part is he maybe try to commit on at least one of these champions and try to bring them down. Maybe not the top lane, avoid the top lane because that's where all the damage is. Maybe try to pick up the Malzahar or even the Poppy, who is currently alone. But right now, the way they are doing their split pushing right now is putting so much pressure on the side of LGN Pax that they're having a very difficult time kind of dealing with it.
Definitely.
I mean, just take a look, right? Because right now the Lux actually has 162 last hits, and even with 162 last hits, the effectiveness of him in this game is so close to like maybe about 5% contribution in terms of what they have done. Top lane Ilawi has just been sitting there. The Nocturne has gotten like maybe 1 or 2 successful ganks.
Right now what I feel like is, you know, looking at LGN Pax, and they are just going in super hard right now. Jarvan using his ultimate on that Kai'Sa, but gets away with her ultimate, and they're just going in on the Nautilus, picks up that kill on the Nautilus. Vayne's got a lot of damage on board, and they are going to get this top inhibitor also. And Poppy's just trying to do work all by herself, trying to face that Ilawi, but just gets away. They also get that mid inhibitor. Galio comes in with a beautiful taunt, and Malzahar just flashes in and uses his ultimate and gets that Kai'Sa. Oh, they're just going in super hard right now, but the Nocturne picks up their shutdown gold on the Vayne. That's a 1,000 gold bounty going on top of the Nocturne, so that's a good little snack for him right there. Poppy just gets away, you know, uses her super movement speed and just gets away. We see the Jarvan taking the bot tower, and that's gone down right now, and that's just a lot of objectives gone down to the side of LGN Pax.
I mean, right now in the previous game we saw Team Mystics is losing all 3 of their inhibitors very early into the game. Not even very early, maybe about 25 to 30 minutes into the game, but they were still able to defend the base. But at this point, if they do lose 3 inhibitors, I don't feel like LGN Pax have the items or the champions right now to kind of deal with it. And with that, you know, they're losing everything right now. And you know, in the Poppy also just being able to run in, start off, you know, get the taunts off and just, you know, kind of buy some time. And you can see the Kai'Sa getting caught there to Malzahar, the ultimate coming in from the Lux there, but immediately Nocturne actually managing to jump in onto the Vayne. They're immediately flashing out and managing to get out. At least that is some sort of consolation. They managed to bring down the Malzahar as well right after the Vayne, but that is about all that they can get, and that is with Vayne sitting at about quarter of his HP, not even the full HP.
I mean, the crazy part is what I feel like LGN Pax is really not in it. Like, I saw the difference between the first game and the game which is happening right now. There's a huge difference what's happening, and I really question if they're really tilted right now from what had happened that previous game.
I mean, it's always possible, but when it comes to grand final games, you always need to keep your cool. You have to always look at the opportunities that you have of a few mistakes, but you always have game number 2 and 3 to correct them, and that is a sign of a really great team. But with that, you know, LGN Pax, like you said, might be a little bit tilted, but right now Team Mystics, they are taken control. They're playing really well right now. They're playing at you know, top tier conditions, especially in game number 2 with the Vayne and the Galio combination right there. But right now LGN Pax, they're going to have a very difficult time finding any sort of answer here. They're going to lose that bottom inhibitor as well, and that is going to be all 3 inhibitors getting taken down, and one more right click actually. Oh, what a beautiful charging coming out from Galio.
Yep, they're just going super hard. Keep your eyes on that Vayne right now. She's just doing work. We see Nocturne going in on the Vayne, but Vayne is just like dashing away using her Quicksilver Sash and just getting all those autos in and gets a double kill on her side. And that is a 14-1 win right there. 26 minutes into the game, and we see about 12,000 goal difference right there. And we also see that Team Mystics is going to be taking the Champions League win, GCLL.
Yeah, GCLL Champions League. It's going to be our winners for the Champions League. It's going to be Team Mystics right there. Now already diving the well. You can see the Poppy running in, taking so much damage. They managed to get one more kill. It's
they're even diving onto a fountain right now.
That's going into the fountain, trying to recall in the fountain as well. That confident, and looks like the game is over with that. So congratulations to Team Mystics winning the game, the grand finals 2-0 over LGN Pax right there, with a really dominant performance in game number 2. Game number 1 was definitely much closer, but game number 2 was very dominant. We saw the win and the Galio combination just being too rough for the side of LGN Pax to kind of deal with. The Vayne just running with the game. There was really nothing that they could do. But before we break down that, we're going to head into a very small commercial break, guys. So stay tuned for the post-match analysis. League of Legends League, also known as GCLL Season 4, where we just concluded the grand finals for the Challenger League, and Team Mystics taking it home 2-0. Let's go through the game, Shira. What do you think happened in game number 2?
Alright, so I really feel like LGN Pax really lost it over there, because I think regarding the first game, what had happened, they were so close to winning that game. They had all inhibitors down. They also had the inhibitor towers. Everything was like Nexus towers everything was down. So I kind of feel like they got really triggered by, what just happened in their first game, and they took all that, weight onto the second game, and they did not have quite a good performance as we expected them to have.
Yeah, definitely. But with that, I feel like Team Mystics, even after the last game, with that momentum that they finished the game with, they took it even a notch higher and went into game number 2. And that Galio Vayne combination was insane. And I feel like if the Kai'Sa and the Nautilus played a little bit safer and not just kind of try to be a little more like aggressive onto the Vayne and the Galio, they would have been much better off. But then, they went in for that aggressive option and they kept feeding a lot of kills. I mean, 7-0 Vayne at around 15 minutes into the game is nothing to laugh at. He had, so many items. He had the Rage Blade as well as the Dragon King. What was it called? I can't remember.
He had the Blade of the Ruin King.
Blade of the Ruin King, not the Dragon King. Sorry, Blade of the Ruin King. That's the item I was looking for. But either way, he was really strong, and that's not something you want to deal with. The Illaoi was doing okay against the Poppy, even that one rotation. Actually, the rotations coming in from both the Javan as well as the Malzahar to bring him down initially. That kind of secured the top lane in making sure that Poppy was in a good enough position, not having to just deal with the Illaoi lane, and then mid lane obviously Lux not being able to put enough or any pressure whatsoever on the Malzahar, because there was no way that if he played it, unless he played it like really unprofessionally, he would have actually gotten taken down by the Lux, but there was no way. And the Lux pick was kind of redundant in this game, I feel like, because she was using her ultimate more like a defensive tactic where she was trying to clear the wave, do a little bit of damage in the meantime. But with the lifesteal that the Vayne actually had, he was very sustainable. And then just having that, just having such a huge lead at the start of that game, having 3 different buffs from the dragons. I believe it was an ocean, a mountain, as well as a cloud drake that they had picked up along with Baron. So they were super strong. There was really nothing I feel like that LGN Pax could have done unless Team Mystics kind of played really split up. But they played together as 5, knowing that the Vayne was super strong, and they just tried to protect him as much as possible. And the itemization coming in from the Vayne was really great, and even that last pickup of the QSS or the Quicksilver Sash was really amazing. So that really benefited them quite well. So there's really nothing much that we can talk about in game number 2 because of a very dominant performance coming in from Team Mystics. So congratulations for them for winning the Challenger League Grand Finals. But one thing we must not forget is both these teams will be moving on into the Pro League, where we'll be seeing the the final few games of the GCLL Season 4 with all these amazing teams, top tier teams. It's going to be some very interesting games for sure. So thank you so much for all of you who joined us from home. We hope you enjoyed the League of Legends action as much as me and Shira enjoyed casting it for sure, especially game number 1, which was insane.
Crazy game.
So amazing action. So hopefully in a few weeks you'll be seeing the a few more games from GCLL on the Pro League circuit this time. So more exciting action to come your way. So this is going to be me, Azman, as well as Shira signing out. Thank you so much for joining us here on Gamer.lk for GCLL Season 4, and this is going to be us signing out. Good night.